let's take a deep breath and then I'll kick us off.
A millennial pause. All right. Where are we starting? You're starting, right?
Yeah, I'm
And we're
starting.
taking a breath first. All right.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Greg and Cameron here from Team Monkey Pod, and we've built ourselves a little bit of a problem in our business, and we wanted to flip the cameras on and chat about it in case any of you all have a similar challenge and you can benefit from the ideas and the learnings as we endeavor to solve this. So recently we launched a brand new flagship course, The Fundamentals of Business Automation. Cam, do you want to tell them a little about this course?
Yeah, so the Fundamentals of Business Automation is a brand new product that we spent a lot of time and energy building and then launching last year. And it's a course that helps business owners identify places inside of their businesses where automation could be a good fit. So this new fundamentals course is a critical part of our business strategy. It's a great course, but we're at an inflection point now where we need to find brand new people who can, one, genuinely benefit from taking the course, and two, help us reach our financial goals as a business by selling more units of this course that we put effort into developing.
We're going to use our business as the example here because we're literally working in our business. But for anybody following along, I'd like you to think about the milestones in your business, right? So for Monkey Pod, at the very end, we have our membership. It's our private community where we serve our members by answering questions, offering advice, and doing, private webinars and masterminds and that sort of thing. And then prior to joining that membership, we have a flagship course, the Fundamentals of Business Automation, that people can purchase. And somewhere before that, people are entering our database as, going from anonymous traffic to becoming leads. But the leap from being anonymous traffic to making that first purchase, it's a big one. And the leap from, that course to the membership and so on and so forth. When you have a journey populated or punctuated by these milestones, one way that you can help your leads and prospects and customers make progress is by introducing smaller and easier milestones for them to achieve as they build momentum along this pathway. And so the section of this journey that we are now focused on is the bridge between anonymous traffic and the FOBA, Fundamentals of Business Automation course. We would love it if anonymous traffic showed up on our website and purchased that course on day one. But as marketers, we know that that's not always the case. Sometimes you need to provide, some sort of evidence of your authority, your expertise. You need to deliver something that helps build trust with that audience in order to help them feel comfortable making that purchase. And so this introduces the challenge that we're setting out to solve in this series, which is that of designing a lead magnet specifically to attract the types of individuals for whom this course can be a fit.
One thing that I've really enjoyed about the way we've discussed getting started in this new initiative of building this new lead magnet is that we've given ourselves permission to kind of start at the beginning of that process. Monkey Pod is a 9-year, almost 10-year-old business, and it's had prolific lead magnets over time. It's had downloadables, it's had mini courses, it's had special events, it's had lots of those things. But not only has our products shifted a little bit, but our audience who needs to find that are going to find it for different reasons. And I think we spend a little bit of time trying to imagine how to just use those existing things that lead to existing offers and repurpose them for this. So I think that your outreach to me, giving me and us permission to kind of just say, well, we don't need to repurpose all of them. We need to create the one that's for this objective.
Right.
It's something that I'm really enjoying about getting started on creating this new item. And then one other thing that I'm really looking forward to in terms of creating this in a documentary format to hopefully teach other people how to do it based on how we did it is that I actually don't know the end game here yet. I know that we're eventually going to have to pay for some traffic to see ads. I know that we're going to have to put, events or stage things that are going to lead to this. Like, I know that there's still more things to do. And I think it's kind of cool that we're kicking off today, but we're still going to have to, incrementally do this to make sure that it actually goes live and has new traffic go towards it.
Well said. I think that is the reason that I wanted to tackle this problem in a public way, is I think it's a really relatable scenario for a lot of small businesses. You create something you're proud of, that you know is valuable, and that you believe can serve your audience. But then, how are you going to lead people to find that? And how are you going to make it easy for the right individuals to know that this is for them? And that's where a lead magnet fits. It's a lower barrier entry, normally free, right? Where you are delivering something of value that your audience appreciates and benefits from. And in exchange, they are giving you their information, usually like first name and email, but you could be collecting additional details as well. So that's the trade-off. And that serves as the entry point for a new lead or prospect into your database. And if you think about automation as a journey, that tips over the first domino in this automation cadence or automated process that then begins to follow up with them and lead them towards becoming first a customer and ultimately a raving fan of your business. So it's a really critical strategic intersection, because you want it to be deliberately attracting the people for whom you are the best fit, right? For whom you know your product can solve a pain point of theirs. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to offer Girl Scout cookies as a lead magnet for selling new cars, right? Because there's a big disconnect between the types of people who want Girl Scout cookies and the types of people who have the buying power or the need for a new automobile, right? So there needs to be some sort of continuity there. And I think that's like where we're going to see this series go, is identifying who is this course for, what other challenges do they have, and how can we create something that attracts the right people that we know will naturally have the appetite for the FOBA course and ultimately the Monkey Pod membership as well. Do you want to add anything on the strategic element or the literal definition of lead magnets here?
I really liked your strategic look at that in terms of moving them along and helping them go from one step to actually being willing to pay a more significant amount of money for a product. I really like that piece. I think that I want to highlight the mechanics, like the technical significance of this, which is where you're taking somebody from anonymous traffic to a human with a name and an email address and maybe more than those things, right? I think it's really easy for us to look at our Google Analytics and say, hundreds of people, at a time come to our website. Why aren't they buying our flagship course?
Sure.
So to focus on the technical, mechanical piece of making that enticing enough that they can come into our automation system, into our database as a real person with a real name and a real email address. And then we can participate in the long game of maybe having them buy that flagship course from us a week later, a month later, 2 months later, instead of just hoping that people are going to go from a lack of awareness to aware to, oh my gosh, let's credit card now, right?
Yeah.
I think that it gives us that opportunity to nurture for a longer period of time.
Obviously, we would love it if people just showed up with their credit card in hand and were ready to buy. But the whole nature of like marketing automation and automation more broadly is to be able to plan for the people who need more time, more hand-holding. And what this does is it prevents leads from slipping between the cracks and from, otherwise, navigating away from your site, never to be heard of again. Here's how I see this playing out. And in full disclosure, the rest of this process doesn't really exist yet. So there may be deviations to this plan. But what I'd like to have happen is I want to unpack the process for ideating and creating the actual lead magnet. What we are going to prepare, how we're going to produce the content, how we're going to design the deliverable. And I think that experience unto itself might be really beneficial for the people who have a similar challenge and are looking to solve it in their business. And then I'd like to take a look at the technical, under the hood mechanics of how we offer that. The landing page design, the actual web form embedded on the page, the technical setup for delivering the lead magnet to the prospect, and then how do we follow up with them and guide them forward on that customer journey towards becoming a FOBA customer or participant in that course. And then I think it'll be important to talk about a traffic strategy. Once we have the landing page and once we have the lead magnets available for offer, how will people find them? Because you can share things to your own social channels, or you can, shout it into the world. But at some point, you're going to want people who have never heard of you to be exposed to this so that you can broaden the footprint of who you serve. And oftentimes that is where a paid traffic strategy enters the equation. So we'll explore a budget for that, as well as, potential audiences that we believe this could be a fit for. And then, as Cameron alluded to, we don't yet know what the end result will be. So we'd love to do a post-mortem where we analyze the results of that paid traffic, where we look at what did or didn't work in this process. And we just want to make sure that we do this as transparently as possible, so that if there are lessons to be harvested that can serve your business, we make it as easy as possible for those of you to benefit from our learnings in this process as well. Cam, anything you want to add before we sign off here on Module 1?
Yeah. Well, I think we should be really clear about the action that we think is the next action. So I just heard you say ideation, technology, traffic, and then a postmortem or retrospective on how this experience was for us. So I think, and tell me if you agree, we're going to stop recording. We're going to go into brainstorming time. We're going to decide if that's together or apart, but we're going to do flip charts, Post-its, whatever it is, and we're going to try to figure out what compelling piece of content or mini product is going to help pave that path forward. So
exactly,
I think we need to turn off the camera and we need to go into ideation.
Let's get to work.
Let's get it. Yeah, let's do the quick 4 soundbite 2-minute hit version, and now we're 19 minutes into that. So